On the wings of love. You don't know nothing about that.
I do, but that's okay. That's okay. Jeffrey Osborne.
Okay.
Did I say the sarcasm is rich today? Anything else you want to share? Okay.
Nope.
We're not bitter, are we?
Oh, no.
Oh. Point I'm making here is that this is how you learn about what it means to be in a relationship when the not so great side shows up. Because I can't believe you said that. I cannot believe you said that.
That's what happens when you put me on camera. You never know what's going to come out.
I know. Lies. Like you're really good at that. We're back. It's been a minute. It's been a long time. Woo, 2025 came in like a beast.
Yeah.
This is Rhea and the Rev, in case you're new to the channel and maybe you haven't seen one of these videos yet. We do it every now and then because on our journey as not so newlyweds, but still kind of new, we're learning some things about life, but also sharing what we believe is key to the intensified life. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave some comments, maybe even some questions. We'll see if we can get some answers to you or responses. I won't say we have all the answers, for sure we don't, but we can at least respond and try. Point of this video is to talk about the first quarter of 2025. Oh my goodness, how life was lifing and all the ups and downs, because I think we might say in a way we had our wedding vows tested a little bit.
Okay.
What?
I said, okay.
Oh, you don't agree? You think everything, that's not the way you would say it. I would say it like that, but.
Okay.
So again, I'm thinking about for rich or for poor. I don't know the order. I'm just saying in sickness and in health, for rich or poor. What else they say? I don't remember.
I don't. Nobody listens to the vows.
Okay, I do. I just don't know the order.
Once somebody's ready to get married, they ain't listening to that.
I do because a vow is a vow.
Get in the bedroom.
Some people think that way.
Consummate.
I think of the words because they have meaning. And of course, we're talking like a vow to the Lord. So I was paying attention. I just didn't know the order. Okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our highlights and what we learned through that first quarter, because we did have the sickness.
What was the sickness I know about my birthday, but what was that? What was the other?
I mean, that's enough. But before that, you were sick coming into the new year, like December coming into January. You don't remember that?
What was that? The Lord had me and wiped all that behind me and cleaning. So what was that?
You had an ear infection, and you're still dealing with that.
Still dealing with that one.
Yeah. It's wonderful that you have that perspective, because obviously it's behind you, and that's the point. But
give it to the Lord. He healed my ear.
Praise God. Wow, the sarcasm is rich today.
Yeah, I did. I prayed about it.
Yeah,
but I guess I don't. I guess I don't look at like ear stuff like what I had as a sickness, but I guess when I think about it now back to it, I guess it could be because it was debilitating for a little bit, for a couple of days there. Couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Especially one particular night, couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
You slept well. I couldn't. I was sitting on the couch while you were sleeping well.
We're not bitter, are we?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. I guess that is how the marriage is tested, because you definitely weren't taking care of me while I was sick. When my ear hurt, you were asleep.
Oh, okay. Did I say the sarcasm is rich today? Anything else you want to share? Okay.
Nope.
I can't believe you said that. I cannot believe you said that.
That's what happens when you put me on camera. You never know what's gonna come out.
I know. Lies. Like you're really good at that. You're really,
Mm-mm.
really good at that, which could be quite disconcerting. But that's another story.
You did sleep good.
Oh
You were
my
sleeping good last night
God.
on the couch, and my face was hurting. But anyway,
Oh
I
my.
digress.
Yeah. So the point I'm making here is that this is how you learn about what it means to be in a relationship when the not so great side shows up, because we have shared travel vlogs and we have talked about all the highs, but then of course you have the not so high parts. You have the bumps in the road and the lows. And so you had two bouts with some physical ailment. I had my own stressors. Whew. Yeah, my own stressors. And yeah, all of it was just kind of concentrated in just a couple of months of back to back stuff. I felt like it was probably April before I got my footing and started to feel like things were about to be somewhat close to normal.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you learn in the highs and lows, other than I can sleep? Obviously, you think I can sleep through anything. So, what else?
Most things I don't usually wake up, but that's what I call sleeping through. But that's good because you got your faith is so strong in the Lord. You know it's gonna work out.
Okay.
What did I learn? Just stay consistent. Just stay rooted in your faith in prayer, um, because life is gonna life. So um, it's just easier just to kind of just make sure that you're grounded.
Mm.
And then also it is, I joke, but you did take care of me. So, as best as you could.
You know what you said? You know that saying, you can kick over a good bucket of milk or something like that. You do something and you're just like, oh wow. Well, okay, so
But you
let's
did take care of me
no
though.
no
So
let okay then let's talk about what really needed care then, since you want
see,
to
that's
go
why I
there.
said you did take care
Oh,
of
we
me.
don't want to talk about that though. We don't want to talk about that incident.
Mm-mm-mm. So we can talk about it. Go
No,
ahead.
you
Go
say
ahead,
you
Clea. Go ahead,
could.
Clea.
No, you go ahead since you want to throw the shots.
So then the other time when
Mm.
I was sick, I actually passed out. I had been traveling all week, and I just didn't really drink a lot of water, any fluids really that day. So I remember I was in Orlando and I had several bottles of water, but probably out of all the bottles, like 3 or 4 bottles of water that I had that day, I probably drank maybe one total out of the 4 bottles, 3 or 4 bottles that I had. So with all the running and ripping of going in between conferences,
And
getting
ripping
on the
and running.
plane, flying back home, as soon as I got home, I went and had to have my mind time, so I'm walking around the park. It's a little warm that day, so the next morning, get up early in the morning, and all I remember is when I got up, I was feeling a little lightheaded, and I just decided to kind of sit down. Thought I was better, so I'm gonna go to the restroom. And the next thing I know, I hear Keisha said, "Did you fall?" And I remember saying yes, and but then after that, I don't remember anything else. And then when I wake up, uh, you know, Keisha was asleep still. No, I'm just playing. You were up
I
hurt.
was gonna pause because you know what? God good with lightning. I don't have to move. God is very strategic and on point.
You were trying to wake me up. You were holding my head up so I didn't hurt myself and all that. So
Because you had already pushed your head against the wall.
and I ready. And it wasn't anything. Fortunately, I don't think I know I didn't hit the floor or anything like that, but I hit the uh, drywall in the restroom. So
Hurt the wall.
There's a nice little dent in the wall.
You see
So
that dent? I'm putting it in here. But again, I think that for me was
passed out twice that day. Actually.
yes. Thank you, thank you. Let's tell the whole truth.
Mm-hmm.
Twice, and was still thinking if he's gonna drive. Like how he's gonna drive? How you gonna drive yourself somewhere and you can barely stay conscious?
But I was staying conscious at that time because about 6 or 7 hours had passed by that time.
You weren't if you pass out again.
Well, you don't know that you're gonna pass out until you pass out.
And the point is, if you are even close to it, susceptible to it, it's best to have somebody help you if they are offering the help. Word to those who are extremely self sufficient, independent, used to doing everything, being in charge, taking care of others, but not always willing to have others care for you when you have the help, especially when it could be life threatening. Even if you're not going to endanger yourself, you could
You're right.
endanger others.
Yep. You're right. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Oh, I just had to work like a slave to get that, but okay. You're welcome. It's my duty.
That's good. That's at least that's
Okay,
$1
okay,
to
okay,
remember.
okay, 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 okay. Because I knew you were about to say something else. So no, but seriously, so sickness and health, we thank God it wasn't a very life-threatening,
Right.
And then I don't want to make light of what others could be facing that is, but there are times you really think about when you make covenant with someone and make a vow to God through all the highs and lows. These are the times that you have to know that you are in it for real. And I've never dealt with anything like that because as a person who's been single all her life, up until the last 2.5 years, lived alone and all of that, it was a bit scary to find you on the floor, like not know exactly what was going on. So I think the way 2025 came in and all of these little issues and things, because while yours may have been a physical challenge a couple of times and light, but still a physical challenge, I had very strong emotional, spiritual, draining, mentally draining, exhausting issues myself. And that's a different type of dis-ease. Can we put it like that? A different type of dis-ease. I don't know if you'd ever seen me that upset or stressed about anything before.
Nope. You don't share with the
Uh,
audience what you can.
let's just say
You trying to
that
put all my business out in the street.
no, I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You ain't heard nothing about yours. Like I'm the only one causing problems.
You didn't
With
cause a
well, I'm
problem.
the only person got health issues or issues.
No, you're not. We
Well,
all
let's share with the world, please. We all listening.
have. I said that I had very stressful, very
We all stress.
well, then mine is an issue. Then I'm sorry, I was about to share.
Share yours. Please.
I mean, if we all got it, then
Share what yours was. The world would love to know.
maybe they
What
don't.
you can share.
I feel like there are times. So first of all, I am. I work at a large church where there are a lot of people who come to me with prayer requests, and most times I can pray and leave it right there. Like really cast my cares on the Lord, leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when some prayer requests and some needs are very, very sad and heavy. And then there are times when my spirit is just grieved, even vexed, and I am not able to shake the issue. And that was one such case this year. And I even went to prayer meeting. Normally, I'm the one leading the prayer meeting, and I had to just be very transparent and say, "Y'all, look, I need prayer this time. I need help and strength because I had been trying to work through the issue for probably 4 or 5 weeks, maybe more, and that lift, that lightening of the load, just it wouldn't. I couldn't stay light. I just kept being pulled into all the details and the drama of it. And um, ultimately, I know it's because I felt, and I still feel now, God, it really placed it on my heart to be a person to not only pray, but then to be involved in bringing some healing or resolution or understanding. Or I just feel like sometimes we pray and that may be all there is to the assignment. And then sometimes we are to be part of the answer to our own prayers.
Mm.
And so it's one thing for me to pray for somebody hungry. It's another thing for me to pray and then actually go buy them food. So sometimes we are to be a part of the answer. And that's a very trite example, but my point is that's how weighty that was. And just working through all of that was exhausting because I get very, ooh, I cry a lot. That's all I can say. Like I have stains in my glasses right now that I couldn't get off because I just didn't want to take the time, but also because that's just what I am. So whether it is physical or emotional, spiritual, mental, there are all of these ups and downs. And I guess you learn the person that you are with through those times. You learn what they can tolerate, how they can support, ways that they may not even be able to bring a remedy, but at least being present is important. So I couldn't diagnose what was going on with you. You couldn't fix everything that I was troubled by, but I would hope that being present and available and attentive was helpful. So
Yeah, it was, and I hope I was helpful just by sometimes just having a listening ear when you're going through something that's not necessarily a sickness, but as you said, a dis-ease,
yeah,
uh, the emotional. Uh, hopefully, I was able to at least bear some of your burden.
so I wanted to do this video also because um, I think we have had an unusual first together. That first was about being able to share with some young adults things that we've learned in life related to relationships and dating. Well, I call it this: attraction, dating, courtship, engagement, and marriage. Kind of that's the progression usually if you wanted to be very categorical about how people come together. Usually that's kind of the progression. There's some blurred lines in between, but it's all on a spectrum. And ultimately, I think the opportunity we had was pretty cool. And because it was our first time sharing a lot of our story live in person, we've been with young adults before, especially at the church, but in this setting, we really got to dig a little bit deeper and share. And I was curious to know what your experience was and how did it feel to kind of open up like that for the first time with
Yeah,
that group.
I thought it was good. They had a lot of questions, wanted to learn more about how to navigate the waters of relationships, and some maybe before they get married, some already in marriage. So it was interesting to hear the questions that they have, things that they're sorting through. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I was able to share some, hopefully, wisdom with them based on my experiences of life.
Mm-hmm. Is there a question or something that you feel was reoccurring and most interesting that stayed with you that you would like to share here? Just to reiterate for those who may be watching, hey, if you were there.
A lot of the questions kind of stemmed around how do you know if that person is uh, for you, or how do you know that person is the one. And uh, again, it just really comes through one, obviously, prayer, and then waiting. I think a lot of times people want to, not just young adults, just people, period, want to force a person
Mm.
as their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their spouse, and they haven't taken the time to just figure out, are they a good person yet.
Ooh.
There's a lot of times that representative is there for however time, however long they need to be there to get where they
Ooh.
want to get. So
Wow.
you have to try to take time to sit back and analyze, watch,
Yeah.
enjoy their company, but watch,
Yeah.
because a lot of what you will see in a person when they become your spouse, more than likely you saw when you were dating them and
Wow.
overlooked it. So,
Ooh. You said that?
in so many words, I couldn't say some of the stuff, but I like almost said some stuff right now, but I had to catch myself.
Why? What did you almost say? You want to whisper? Oh, you could say it, but
Like you said,
you could say it in a more respectful way.
mm, I don't know how I would say it more.
Maybe that sex clouds your view.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Because
yeah.
that thing be good. That.
You could just. So, since you said that,
Mm-hmm.
what did you see, or what do you see now in our marriage that you saw in dating?
But I see in our marriage that I saw in dating, I saw you being who you are. I mean, you're
Oh,
you know
I thought so. I was
yeah,
just wondering if that
yeah.
was a. I mean, to me, that's a strong statement. I always feel like anything that you see while you're dating in marriage it'll be magnified. Like it's going to be even more obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
so I,
preacher. That's I see that. You know, so you are who you showed to be when we met and been consistent. And now, obviously, as being married, I see more of it because I see more behind the scenes of everything that you do. So,
hmm,
yeah.
I used to always say, don't pretend to be
Mm-hmm.
what you don't intend to be.
Yeah.
So let that sit with somebody, take it, share it with friends. If you
Yeah.
haven't heard it already, that's very important because ultimately, after the while, after time, after the long stretch, the representative gets tired, packs up, goes home. You're gonna be left with the real deal,
Mm-hmm.
and that's guarantee. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
So it's so much easier to just show up in your full, authentic self, which is another one of those things
Mm-hmm.
intensified life principles. Be true to who you are from the inside out. Make
Yeah.
sure that there's no discrepancy because it's horrible to try to keep up appearances and live in pretense.
Yeah. And that goes both ways. I mean, I think sometimes because, obviously I'm a man and I was talking to the women that sometimes people think that it's just the women that have to watch out for the men having their representative, but that goes both ways. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
women out there that have their representative because they think that's what that particular guy wants or that's what guys want. And, once again, it's easy to get, fooled if your mind is not in the right place. If your flesh is doing the thinking for you or overlooking certain things.
Mm,
So yeah.
yeah, that's real. I remember in those conversations hearing a lot about independent women who have learned to be very self-sufficient and they've had to grow up and just kind of make it happen on their own. The boss lady who's handling business, on the job or as the entrepreneur or whatever it is, and finding time and finding sometimes maybe even the desire
Mm-hmm.
to create space for someone else
Mm-hmm.
to come along and enhance your life is a challenge when you've been so independent. I can speak to that because I was there for a while. But I realized also as I was praying about it, once we finished with the sessions, I realized sometimes that strong, independent spirit is also twin
Mm-hmm.
to just control,
Mm-hmm.
to just being a person who needs to be in control. And there are also times that we ask questions because we need to have things a certain way in a certain order. Sometimes that beneath that is some fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you try to get a formula for something or these guarantees, then it's almost like I can predict what happened. I'll be okay. I can, prepare myself. In life and in relationships, especially, it just doesn't roll like that. I had to say it a few times. They were asking me for how do you know this? What do you do here? And I'm like, listen, you all are looking for a formula. There's
Mm-hmm.
no magic formula to figure everything out, except that you can pray, you can be vigilant, you can trust that ultimately God has your best interest, and make sure that if you are disciplined in your flesh, in your thoughts, and taking heed to the wisdom of spiritual community around you, most likely you'll have a better chance of avoiding the pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you end up in something that's not the best or a little bit off, take it up as a lesson for life and some way to reflect on whatever it might be within you that even attracted that type of person or allowed yourself to be in the situation. Or sometimes it's none of that, and it's just that folks trip out. Their free will is real. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with you or what you could have done, should have done. Dude, sis just got crazy and decided to go left and acting. That is what it is.
Yep.
So don't beat yourself up about that. Okay. Um, in all of this, I thought it was really cool also that whew, we were in a fast,
Mm.
and after the fast was over, you shared a couple of things you felt were really cool about the whole experience because we gained some things
Mm. Yeah.
as a result of that.
Yep. 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 Well, part of the uh, obviously many people know about the Daniel fast, but one of the things I also sacrificed during that Daniel fast was not just the food, but I took myself away from social media, and
Mm.
except for things that had to deal with learning. So if it was financial, anything educational, I still watch. But if it was some of the stuff that we get caught up going down a rabbit hole, I eliminated that. So coming out of that just a couple of days ago, um, I realized that you know I felt more focused, and I felt also stronger in terms of just physically and spiritually too. So um, that was good knowing coming out of that because we developed a financial game plan for us for the
Mm-hmm.
future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I stayed consistent with my workout regimen throughout the entire fast, so that because I didn't want to lose any strides that we had made going into the fast, and me also moving myself away from social media allowed me to see how much more I can get accomplished,
Mm-hmm.
how much more I can do self improvements uh, if I'm not going down a rabbit hole
Yeah,
for, you know,
distracted.
2 to 3 hours total for the day. When you think about kind of calculate how many hours out of your day you actually spend on social media,
Mm-hmm.
when you only think you're going to look at something for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Before you know it, 30 minutes has passed and you've forgotten what you were supposed to do. Now you're trying to remember that and get caught up, and then you're on a conference call, and then you go and look at it again, and now you're down another rabbit hole. So you calculate that throughout the entire day, you could probably quite easily have spent 3 hours on social media, especially when you're about to go to bed and you're laying in the bed and you're looking at,
Yeah.
so.
And we see, and that's another thing. We said early on we weren't even going to do the phone thing in bed. So you got to have some boundaries. We try to help each other with that because if it's not either TV or just kind of the phone, they even say that the blue light and
Yeah, but
all
we don't
that
have
stuff.
TV in the room.
Yeah, see, we don't even have TV because those are boundaries. You got to help yourself prepare for rest, and it helps you also to rest, but then keeps you uncluttered. Because I dream a lot, so I could easily watch something or be on social media and then just have crazy dreams
Mm-hmm.
because I guess I'm just a visionary. A
What do you call yourself?
seer.
No, what was the director and you call yourself?
Oh, some of you heard that before. Stephanie Spielberg.
Yes, Stephanie Spielberg,
I got
right?
to get a few other names. That's just one of them. Just one of them. But to the point, the fast also, for me, we eat differently. And so I'm already closer to that as a norm for my life. But what I found the discipline or the challenge wasn't necessarily in my dietary restrictions as much as being mindful of the time I needed to increase my focus on the word and meditation and pausing to rest and unplugging from a lot of the busyness because my job either demanded something or I have just even extra ministry assignments and obligations. So to really center myself and make sure that I'm not just reading the regular, but I need to intensify that. Ah, I'm not just doing the minimum. I need to intensify that because if the dietary restrictions weren't really a sacrifice, it wasn't a major sacrifice for me. I had to think about how I could make the time more meaningful. Um, and that reminded me of why it's so important that I personally keep my days free of as much clutter, because I can get really driven and into doing work and busyness that before I know it, I'm waking up in the morning thinking, okay, I'll just do this one thing. I'll just answer this one text. I'll just send this one email. It may have been social media for you. It was work for me. And before I know it, 3 hours has passed and I haven't done the extra that I needed to do for praying or for study or for something else. So I'm grateful that it helped me to reset. I think that's what I want to call it. Help me to just reset and make sure that I guard that time. And I know you're always going to hold me accountable to resting or not always trying to do work every minute of the day. I don't think I'm a workaholic. I think I'm just very focused and
That's usually what workaholics say.
but if you have a lot to do, you want to get done. But you're right, because this is the reset. I was reminded that I don't need to try to do it all. I need to hear God and prioritize according to what the Lord tells me to focus on. And the rest, I need to rest. Like guarding my Sabbath days, making sure that I pause and really have a Sabbath is important. Um, Sometimes we just have a lot to do. So, a person that is always thinking, it then comes from my mind, and I feel like I have to do it. So I need to not do it so much, but just think. And then even thinking, I need to start resting. What are you looking at? What are you thinking? Because you're looking at me like, yeah, you're right.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
I know you. But thank you for at least being pleasant about it, because you could have said something snippy.
I was about
I
to.
know.
I was like,
I know. I know you were gonna say something snippy.
that'd be good.
See, that's so nice.
That's what I learned during the Daniel fast.
Oh,
I don't choose your words.
oh, praise the
I'm
Lord.
still a baby in that journey.
I know we saw that at the beginning of the video.
So I don't even think about the past. We're really talking about bringing that up.
Well, the last thing I thought it would be cool to just address is that we do try to celebrate the small things still. I'm good for celebrating at any time. And celebration doesn't mean a big party all the time. Celebration might mean just go out for ice cream, go, date night, that kind of stuff, trying to stay above the fray of all the foolishness and, whew, yeah.
Yep.
So we didn't get to celebrate your birthday as we had hoped on the day of, but we found a way, despite.
Got me a suit. Got me
Yeah.
a custom suit. So I appreciate that.
Well, again,
My Easter suit.
yes, your Easter.
I just happened to get here for Easter, but yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we try to celebrate the big thing. So even now, trying to get our groove and continue with the year, I'm excited that there are a few things that are on the horizon. I think that will help us to not just move further into our goals, but maybe even be more of a blessing to some others. I'm excited that we were able to share with the young adults, but hopefully we'll be able to do that again, and some older adults, and dance and continue dropping in these little videos to update you on what it's like and what it's like, what it's like in the life of Re and the Rev. And then also, I want to just put a shout out to some folks I know who are getting married soon, or they've entered into a new space in union. It's really, really cool to see some the ladies who've been single like me for a long time, or that they've given their hearts a chance to find love again, and you know who you are. Congratulations.
On the wings of love. You don't know nothing about that.
I do, but that's okay. That's okay. Jeffrey Osborne.
Okay, all right.
He thinks he's so much older, and I'm so young.
I just know you don't know a lot of songs.
I know a lot of songs
outside of the gospel world.
Oh, okay. And I surprise you often, don't I?
No, not really. I mean, even a broke clock.
Yeah, stop. See? Ah! Woohoo! Come on, Daniel. Hey, don't forget to subscribe like, share, and leave a comment. We just drop in to give you some updates, but also to share what we've learned, what we are still learning, and hopefully to inspire others to be intentional about your intensified life. Relationships are not predictable, they can be a little edgy, off, life throws a lot at you. But I do believe that when you have brought your full, authentic self to be with the person you think that God has put in your life, then it still can be a blessing. Even if you have to do the roller coaster ride, the ebb and flow of life can bring a lot that tests your patience, tests your vows. But I think the grace of God and a lot of prayer and laughter
When
helps
you
a lot.
woo woo woo, and you woo woo woo, and you woo 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 woo. I just had to
Are you
close out.
are you auditioning?
I just
Are
had to
you?
close out with that song. Bye, y'all.
You good? You all right? Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.